Game on! Gamification, Revolutionising, Rehab and Therapy, written by Ben Wilkins. This article is sponsored by PhysiQuip, your go-to for clinical devices such as shockwave and diagnostic ultrasound machines. The motivation problem. Anyone who's ever faced rehabilitation after an injury, surgery, or illness knows that recovery isn't just about the body. It's a mind game. The repetition, the discomfort, and the slow pace of progress can sap motivation. You have heard the words before. I'll do it later. It's boring. It's repetitive. Or I can't find the time. And yet, consistency is everything in rehab. Missed sessions mean missed milestones. If you've ever heard me speak at a conference, a couple of my go-to phrases are, it's not a knowledge deficit, it's a behaviour deficit. And it's not that people don't know better, they don't do better. Pretty much everyone has got the memo. Rehab exercises are important. They know that eating more veggies is important. They know that going for a walk more often is important. But knowing doesn't always translate to doing. But we are evolutionarily hardwired to seek calorific food, conserve energy, and avoid pain. If we're going to overcome these physiological barriers to achieve both rehabilitation and public health goals, we're going to need to pull on more motivational strings than just saying, it's good for you, or it's important. We've got to find a way to pull the levers that lead to endorphin pathways, and where we can leverage fun and social connections, we may stand a chance of motivating society to actively engage in their rehab and treatment. Here's where gamification, the use of game-like elements in non-game contexts, is stepping in to change the rules of recovery. What if your daily exercise routine could feel more like a challenge than a chore? What if your progress was visualized as levels completed, trophies unlocked, or goals achieved? For many people, that's not just a fun idea, it's the difference between giving up and getting better. Taking serious games seriously. It's just Super Mario and Minecraft, right? The games industry is larger than the film and music industry combined. The gaming industry is huge because games work, and they work by understanding human motivation at its core. At the heart of every successful game lies behavioural design, mechanics that reward effort, provide instant feedback, and deliver a satisfying sense of progression. These are the very same principles that rehabilitation motivation struggles with. And gaming isn't a niche pastime anymore. An estimated 1/3 of the world's population, between 2.7 and 3.3 billion people, play games regularly. Nearly half of all players are female, and more than a quarter are aged over 45. Take Pokemon Go, for example. When it launched back in 2016, it got people walking outdoors in record numbers. By 2019, players had collectively walked over 23 billion kilometres, the equivalent of 30,000 round trips from Earth to the Moon, and it's not just teenagers. 1 in 4 players are over 50. Games aren't just entertainment, they're engines for behaviour change. Turning therapy into play. At its heart, gamification is simple. It takes what makes games engaging, feedback, goals, rewards, progress, plus a bit of collaboration and competition, and applies those elements to everyday tasks. In rehab, that means embedding game mechanics into rehabilitation exercises to make them more interactive and rewarding. Instead of being told to squat 10 times or balance on one leg for 30 seconds, you might be steering a virtual boat by moving your shoulder, or helping a digital character jump by shifting your weight. Each correct movement earns points, visual rewards, or unlocks a new challenge. These are more than digital gimmicks. They engage the brain's reward system, releasing dopamine, the feel-good neurotransmitter, and turning repetitive motion into a satisfying, measurable experience. From clinic to console, the rise of rehab tech. The idea of using games in healthcare isn't entirely new. Early research into exergaming, combining exercise and gaming, took off with the Nintendo Wii in the mid-2000s. Therapists quickly noticed that balanced games and virtual sports helped patients